Hi, T. Carlson here. Today we go back to the golden age of Hollywood with a classic from 1953. The movie we're going to be looking at today is Roman Holiday, starring Gregory Peck and Audrey Hepburn, co-starring Eddie Albert. I'm going to unbox this release, share my opinion, and let you know what I think. And just the usual obligatory disclaimer, any images that you see in this video are taken from the Blu-ray copy of the film, not the 4K disc itself, so they don't necessarily represent full 4K quality or anything of the sort. They're just for basic reference purposes. All right, nice cover art there with our twosome cruising through the city of Rome. I like the way that looks. Back cover with the images and description and all that good stuff. Underneath we have pretty much the same art. There is a digital code of the film. We have our 4K Ultra High Def disc on this side, and we have our Blu-ray copy on this side. I'm guessing the Blu-ray disc is most likely identical to the Paramount Presents release that came out a few years ago. Paramount's had this habit of putting a lot of these movies out as Paramount Presents discs, Blu-ray versions, and then putting the 4K out so people have to double dip. Luckily, I didn't buy the earlier release on Blu-ray of Roman Holiday, so I was smart to wait, apparently. I'm going to read the description of the film for those of you who might not be familiar. For the first time ever on 4K Ultra High Def, Roman Holiday features a legendary Oscar-winning performance from Audrey Hepburn in her first starring role. It's the story of a modern-day princess who, rebelling against her royal obligation, explores Rome on her own. She soon meets an American newspaper man who pretends ignorance of her true identity in the hopes of obtaining an exclusive story. Naturally, his plan falters as they inevitably fall in love. Featuring Eddie Albert as a carefree cameraman pal, an Oscar-winning Dalton Trumbo screenplay, expert direction from William Wyler, and featuring Edith Head's Oscar-winning costumes, it's a timeless romantic comedy considered to be one of the greatest films from the golden age of Hollywood. Roman Holiday is certainly a fantastic film. There's been a lot of romantic comedy dramas over the years, and this is certainly one of Hollywood's efforts that has stood out the most over the years. The movie won plenty of Oscars, albeit not the one for Best Picture, but it's certainly a revelation and the movie that unleashed Audrey Hepburn on the world. I like how this movie does not glamorize the life of royalty. She's clearly disgruntled and hates being kept on such a short leash, so when we see her go out into the world and explore it for herself, we certainly sympathize with this young lady, and she makes for a fantastic princess gone missing, and you just absolutely fall in love with this character. Gregory Peck makes for a great love interest, he of course being a disgruntled newspaper man living in Rome who dreams of going back to the States and who isn't exactly too well liked by his editor, but when he finds the opportunity to get the story of a lifetime, naturally he jumps on it. His best friend is the cameraman portrayed by Eddie Albert. Albert, of course, would go on in the 60s to star in the sitcom Green Acres, and then in the 1970s he'd star in the film The Longest Yard as the prison warden. I actually did a review for that film on 4K on this channel a few weeks ago. One of the best things about Roman Holiday is right there in the title. This movie was filmed entirely on location in Rome, and it makes the scenery and the overall execution of the film all the more spectacular. The screenplay, of course, was written by Dalton Trumbo, who'd long been blacklisted in Hollywood during those eras when communist witch hunts were commonplace, and his work here certainly speaks for itself. I mean, it's filmed on location, it's beautifully cast, it's never quite wears out its welcome. Roman Holiday is certainly one of the best films of its kind. This fairy tale style storytelling was nothing new even back in 1953, but it's the way that it's pulled off that makes it so good. The plot of the movie is actually strikingly similar to a movie from about 20 years prior, It Happened One Night, which also revolves around a reporter trying to get a story with someone from an entirely different social scene, but inevitably falling in love with the person in question. However, Roman Holiday certainly stands on its own due to the performances, the cinematography, the witty screenplay, the situations our characters get themselves into. It must be seen to be appreciated. Again, Roman Holiday was put out as part of the Paramount Presents line a few years ago, and we now have a 4K Ultra High Def release. I'm willing to bet this is probably based on the same master as that release, and it's certainly a modest uptick from the Blu-ray that's included in this set. It's not one of those instances where I'm going to say that the 4K is an absolute revelation and a massive step up from the Blu-ray, but it's at least a minor uptick, and I do think fans who want to get the best looking version of this movie possible on home video will be happy with what they see. It's not the best looking vintage black and white title I've seen in Blu-ray or 4K for that matter, but I am happy to say that overall it is a satisfactory package, and the flaws here are negligible at best. Many older bonus features are ported over here, including a newer filmmaker focus featurette with critic Leonard Maltin. We also have a lot of stuff from older discs, including a tribute to Audrey Hepburn, and featurettes on things like the costuming and other aspects of production. So I'm happy to see that Paramount really didn't skimp on the release here. I'm also very happy to see them actually include a Blu-ray disc with one of their 4K releases, which seems to be something they're stepping away from in recent years. If you are a fan of Roman Holiday, this is the absolute best version of the movie you can get, and this comes very highly recommended. Are you a fan of Roman Holiday? Do you think it's the best movie for Gregory Peck, Audrey Hepburn, and everyone else who was involved with the cast and crew? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.